match yourself up with for a swim, or like you can mentally figure out where you're going to be on the bike, at what point you're going to be able to catch certain people?
Yeah, I don't. Only thing I worry about is for swimming. Once that's the only thing that I think about other people that were there.
Just crush it? Is that the? Then you know you're
No, like it doesn't, because you're not. I don't race anyone else once the swim is done.
Right.
So you stick to your own game
Yeah,
plan.
I'll only do my own thing. But on the swim, you need to leverage other people.
So do you actually take that into consideration? Like, okay, I know that so-and-so is going to be there, and I know I could probably draft off him.
Yeah, I go make a list of all the people that, it'll be shorter list now if they continue to do the split starts.
Right.
Because almost universally, if you say who's going to be the first woman out of the water, I'll probably swim with her, unless it's like, say, Julie Gibbons or something.
Right.
But I mean,
some of the guys in pots.
yeah, but like there's, those sort of the over, but generally any of those, 2010, I was like Chrissy Wellington, I was like, oh. And women are way better about not messing up the swim. Like men are like really erratic with it, like in general.
Terrible! I have had to swim with men twice.
Men are like, because like guys like the whole ego and like they start way faster. Yeah, all that stuff. Right, and so the women is good, and then once you find one, and then they are not threatened by me because like they know that like, I'm not. It's not like I'm keeping. And
Yeah,
then,
do they really recognize you? Like, it's just George.
No, they know because like Mary Beth, I swim with. Like I've done enough races with her, and like we swim together, and then I keep like other people from like encroaching on her space.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I'm like, don't mess with her because you're gonna slow her
This is
down.
not right.
Because the people, like you have some of these guys that are not like, they haven't been doing it a long time, but they have good swim skills, but they don't sort of, like, they don't think anything of swimming right next to someone, but it's like, you're gonna slow them down. So I have to like bump them off. I swim up in between and then push them off and then go back. I used to be like, oh, whatever happens, and then like I had a bad race in Arizona, and I was like, man, you have a bad race from someone that is like, ends up, DNFing like a third of the way through the bike, why do you let them ruin my day? So now I'm like very, like, I'm not like, I don't hit other people, but don't like don't get in my space during the swim. Or in the space of the person in front of me. That's even worse.
I could use your help, though.
Yeah.
So.
Don't mess with my ride.
All right, next question. Everyone wants to know, what race day nutrition, calorie intake, water, electrolyte drinks?
Brian Shea will put that up.
Yeah, I mean, that's a long answer. I
Despite
mean,
what your sponsor said.
No, that's good. I've read your
Yeah.
slogan.
yeah, I mean, basically my goal, I think that my general rule of thumb for most people is you should have 1,000 milligrams of sodium plus whatever other electrolytes come along with that by don't take like those S caps, which are just salt. Like, so I say, like, when people are like, do I need the other electrolytes? I'm like, yeah, well, how much? I don't know. I say I don't know because I use salt stick, and then the other numbers fall into place if you do a gram an hour of sodium. 800 milligrams, 1 gram. I like 1 because it's easier to remember than 800 milligrams, but it's not like. Yeah.
How many caps is that?
So basically that would be 2 salt stick caps plus 1 bottle per form, roughly. So 800 to 1, 800 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams. 750 milliliters to 1 liter. Again, like I like 1 liter because it's easier to remember. So I say, so it's 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 1 liter of fluid, and 300 calories
Per hour.
per hour, roughly.
And
And you're
solid
about
food too, or no? Solid food too, or no?
I don't do solid food.
157?
What are you weighing, Jordan?
156 for this race.
But you're 6'3"?
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, okay, you have to
155.
rub that into me.
No, I know, me too, Zach.
Yeah, but
I just looked at it on the way home, I said, it's my weight, but he's small.
yeah, but no, I think.
Yeah, me too. So you should feel I'm a fat bastard.
But I mean, I say like basically sort of for a sprint you should have a sprint you don't really need to eat.
No.
Olympic distance, 150 calories an hour is enough. For a half Ironman, 250 calories an hour is enough. For an Ironman, 350 calories.
At 150 pounds. At 188 pounds.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't change so much though because like there's some like someone who weighs twice as much as I do, they can't take in twice as many calories because like there's just it's not like they have twice as much blood in their body. right? So it's a lot of it's just limited by your body's ability to oxidize fuel. So, like, you can get more, like, I mean, but it certainly is not, the range is narrower. Like, it's sort of like people go from, say, 250 to 450 kind of. Like, I do 400 and change, but I mean, certainly there's nobody, like, that does, say, 800.
When you take it mostly on the bike,
Yeah, and then so
on,
it's
what do you do?
hit every aid station as much as
Wire,
possible.
whatever
Yeah.
works.
It's hard to count, you know, 'cause it's like
Mainly just,
half of it ends up in your race suit, right?
but it's mainly liquid stuff or?
Yeah, I only do liquids.
On the run?
Both.
So what do you do, like?
No goose.
Carbo Pro or something?
I do is that
No
first
big
endurance
shots.
stuff. Yeah, because most of the goos have gelling agents, and all that stuff slows down your body's ability to metabolize it. So, like,
You just drink that EFS stuff?
yeah, and then the liquid shots.
Liquid
That's
shots,
it. Yeah. So it doesn't. That's basically just like the way that they make that is essentially like roughly they just take the drink mix and they just concentrate it. So
If you
this
run
is
that vanilla icing, throw it in the microwave for about 30 seconds, it's the same thing.
No, I have
swear
that, I
to
have a
God.
big bottle, but would you use that for an Olympic distance, or?
No,
use
no.
that for- Yeah, yeah.
for a half
I have a
Ironman.
big bottle
usually.
now. Do you want half Ironman?
Yeah.
Thanks for breakfast.
But like I think the big thing with calories is that you figure out roughly how many you kind of want, and then you need to get those calories in. And then when people are like, well, how fast are you going? I'm like, fast enough that I can still get all the calories in, right? Like Ironman is, it's not like, oh, I'm going to ride this and then I'll eat as much as I can at that pace. It's like eat as much as you can and then go the pace that still allows you to digest your food. You know, it's hard to. It's a different, you know. I think the more you can eat, the better, right? Within reason. You know, I mean, I think once you hit, say, if you're getting below 300, that's probably not enough, and if you're getting above 400, then it's like, okay, that's maybe more than you need. But I think if you're in that range, you know, all of us have, even me, we have enough calories available if your metabolism is firing to make it through an Ironman.
Do you know how far ahead or behind you are?
Sometimes.
Timers?
Depends on the race. This race that like on the bike, they actually had a dedicated timer for the pros. It's the first time we've ever had that. Normally it's like friends, you know,
Just
people.
can't be other schmucks going by you.
Yeah.
Hey, 3 minutes down.
Yeah. But this race actually had a race timer, and she was basically stopping every 10 miles and would basically give everyone splits.
No, that's good.
So that was pretty nice.
Okay, I told TJ you suck.
At Kona, they actually had a moto with a board.
Like a bike race.
Yeah, like, you know, it gives splits to everyone.
That's cool.
You try to do negative splits on the bike, or just keep it?
Nobody negative splits about it.
Nobody negative splits.
I mean, it depends a little bit on the course, but generally, like, you can't.
So it's even?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people, it's a pretty significant positive split. That's why everyone's like, he's making his move, and I'm like, I'm actually just not slowing down.
Making a move?
Yeah, people think like, I mean, in general, people think like Aaron's like, such and such making a move, and it's like, no, everyone else is just going backwards.
Dropping off point.
Yeah, like there's no,
Okay.
not the move making. I mean, really. I mean, if you have a hill or something, then maybe, but in general, it's a goal. Sort of game of who slows down the least.
Yeah, here we got that, yeah, hill and sun right at the end of that. Well, not for you, but I mean.
Which one?
Sun and hill and wind at the end of the bike ride this time.
Yeah, the wind was, I mean, a challenge.
Yeah,
How that headwind coming
headwind.
back,
Yeah.
you know, that southern wind was, and then especially on that third leg, like you would get spun. I got spun out quite a few times on some of those downhills with that big tailwind. I was like, you know, I don't like that because it's like then you sort of rest, and it's like then when you start pedaling it feels worse.
What kind of gear did you pedal?
54, 42, 11, 23.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't.
There's like 11:20.
So that's why your knees hurt when you try that.
And I didn't. I did not. Once I got up the hill,
You
the
didn't
first
use
hill,
the-
I didn't use the small ring ones. But I don't like. I don't like that light cadence. I'd rather just kind of like power through. I mean, for some people, they sort of shifted. I mean, there certainly are plenty of places where like, I would have said, "Oh yeah, it's good to use the small."
What was your
ring.
average cadence, or you don't know?
Usually about 77, 78, somewhere in there.
Grind it out.
Yeah.
So you do that 90 minute.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Some people like it's fine,
I
you know.
can't get to that.
They like that, you know.
So when you're grinding it up one of those, do you look at your power to make sure you're just not going to, or no? You just by feeling?
Yeah.
Compass ramp.
Yeah, I mean, especially like ones that short and things
Yeah.
like that, you know, like, it's hard because it's kind of like, for two, like, one is that if I was to go as hard as I could, on a relative basis, it's not that much harder than how hard I can go for a really long time.
Right,
Like, I cannot sprint.
right.
Like, I just don't, my rowing coach theorized that if you did a muscle biopsy, I would probably be like 98% like slow twitch muscle fiber. Like, so I can't really damage myself in a big way just from physiology. So even if I'm going hard, it's not like it's that bad. And the other thing is just to go fast up a hill, the relative power. Like if I'm going, say, 400 watts, it's not that much higher than, say, threshold. But if it's somewhere where it's like, you know, your threshold is, say, 250 watts, like, to go the same speed, 400 watts for you is like a bad idea, right? So that's where it's a little bit like, if you're light and you are reasonably fast and you're sort of biased towards long distance anyway, it's like, I've never really found that I can blow myself to pieces. At the same time, it's hard because when I was half Ironman, I have trouble dropping guys because I can't sort of like, I can't actually, like I can't break myself, but I can't break them either. You know, but for Ironman, that's rarely a problem because you just have so much time to just, like, if someone's just a little bit over, like, yeah, they'll disappear in a big way. So, I mean, it's not, it's sort of just like, I guess, luck, right, in that sense that I can ignore, I seem biased to be really steady and even, and so even if I think like, oh, I'm really giving her on this hill, it's like, it's not really that much of a surge. But if you're someone that's sort of biased the other way, then I think, yeah, you do have to be careful. But I've been doing it long enough that I sort of, for me, I don't worry about it, and it seems like it doesn't really make so much difference.
Right. Here's another one. This one's for me. How much weight do you gain or lose from off season to in season? Do you pick it out once you're done for the season and gain 10 pounds?
I don't think I've ever gained like 160. Like the heaviest that I would be in the off season would be like if you weighed me like after a big dinner would be 165. Yeah.
What is
Still
it?
like
So like
9
8-10 pounds, maybe.
Well, I would probably less. I would say like I would think like 6 pounds would be about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Six-
a lot of
six-
that is genetic too.
Yeah.
You know, people have a predisposition to, you know, keeping very, very tight parameters.
Yeah, but I mean, I also
Yeah,
some people like
it's all
some
fun.
some people
All the time,
really
yeah.
I think they're like, oh, I want to gain weight because that's a sign that I'm like resting or whatever.
No.
I'm like, no, like I don't. Yeah, like,
Just the reduced training volume.
yeah. I mean, like I try to eat less when I'm training less. you
Yeah.
know. I try not
That's
to-
hard.
I feel like it goes the opposite way. I eat a ton, and that's the problem. Yeah. Training less means you're drinking more.
Yeah.
Clearly not too much time.
During the peak area for that 8 weeks, I gained weight.
Yeah, sometimes like I don't weigh myself too often, especially because like if it's hot, you'll start to gain weight because your body will start to retain water to account for the fact that you're going to sweat more when you exercise. So you know it's the same thing like just like if you train at altitude, your body you will lose weight because your body will dump water to preserve plasma volume, right? So that a given amount of blood has a certain amount of like so you can deliver more oxygen with less blood. So like people, it's funny like people go to altitude and they think like, oh, you know, and you always lose a lot of weight because your resting heart rate all that is so much higher, basal metabolic rate is higher at altitude. But a lot of it, the reason that people lose weight is just being at altitude. So if you went from somewhere like Flagstaff, which is at altitude and dry, and then you come to say New York at sea level in the summer, which is really humid, I mean, like you would gain 6 pounds without doing anything, right? But it's not actually you; it's just water difference. So like, I wouldn't be surprised if almost all of you who like do a lot of training in the summer don't actually gain water weight like July, August, because your body is gonna pick it up. It's just because you need to be able to sweat more, right? Like if your body's like, okay, every day we're sweating out,
That's assuming you're hydrating correctly.
You're right, yeah. I mean, it's assuming you're making like intelligent decisions.
It's not a problem.
Then-
Gain a bunch of weight.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Does Dale feel that?
No.